When I first decided to get a degree in studio painting, a lot of people asked me what I would do with a degree in art when I got out of school. And to be honest, I really didn't know myself. I just know that painting has become a huge part of my life and is something I can't wait to do when I wake up in the morning. The studio became like a second home to me and was more than just a place to paint and work. It was a place that I spent hours joking around with my friends, talking about our ideas, and being a part of each other's lives. My family also became a big part of my experiences at school. My son Gabriel and my daughter Ruby were the gracious models for many of my paintings and drawings. 2 of those paintings were shown in the annual student art show. My family often came into the studio to witness the madness and attended many art events here at Cal State San Bernardino. The friends I made at school and the welcoming spirit of the art department made me feel proud to be a studio art major. It was also the open and accepting nature of my painting teacher, Brad Spence, that made me realize that I belonged in that environment. He always made me feel like an artist from the very beginning because of the interest and the respect he gave to every one of my ideas, even the really bad ones. Brad, I want to thank you for giving me the freedom and faith to make mistakes and take chances, and for giving me the courage to call myself an artist. I also really want to thank my husband Gabe for being the biggest and most positive supporter of my art. You had the enthusiasm of a proud parent even when I brought home the most hideous artwork from my early days as a student. I want to thank you for always seeing the value in my work and in my education, and for opening yourself up to the experience with me.
Good afternoon and congratulations, classmates of 2010. If I've learned one thing here, it's the beauty of communication and how multifaceted a communication degree is. I'd never met such a diverse and well-rounded group of people until I reached the communication department at CSUSB. It's a fun major. We get to talk all the time. I met some of my closest friends of all different backgrounds in communication classes. People going into sports journalism, public relations, event planning, and I'm going to law school. I've always liked school, but it was never a joy until I came here. I used to be really shy. Now I'm comfortable giving speeches. I've learned how powerful language is and how to dissect and use it. My advisor, Dr. Carter, will be the first to tell you that I'm driven. And Dr. Carter, I appreciate all of the kind words and wisdom throughout my academic career and for always keeping me pointed in the right direction. My mentor, Professor Scott Rodriguez, couldn't be here, but he always challenged us and really helped shape me and find my passion, women's rights and activism. My parents, sisters, and grandmothers, thank you for being here today. Because of your support, I had the strength to get here. Classmates, 4 years is a long time. I pray that all of us keep looking for our purpose and striving for our goals. Even if everything else changes, we can accomplish something that truly matters in life when we have a purpose. As Washington Irving said, great minds have purposes, others have wishes.
When someone asks me why I chose to major in English, I tell them that it was the only way I can ensure myself a lifestyle defined by fast cars, huge houses, and Fabergé eggs. I almost always go on to tell the now confused person that the goals and coursework provided by the English department are motivated by a celebration of the beauty endemic in a way of thinking, communicating, and expressing ourselves artistically. Further, English is like other majors in that it teaches its pursuers a set of skills, and the foremost of these skills is the ability to read critically. We read for a sense of our literary history, but in doing so, we create our own text through the application of critical lenses to classic works of literature. We read for moral training, but are introduced to many different ways of living. As we honor our literary tradition, in all its ebullience and wondrous experimentation, we preserve its spirit by refusing to let its suppositions and conclusions mark a magnetic north on our moral compass. For the dialogue between an extensive literary past and an exponentially evolving present is something that only this generation can take part in. By now, my listeners' confusion has turned to disbelief because this hardly sounds like a formula for financial success, and I'll concede. Okay, fine, majoring in English is not a recipe for a diamond-salted dinosaur egg omelet, or for owning the first hover car. My decision to major is instead directly correlated to the sagacity and edification of my father, the love and emotional guidance of my mother, and my brother's sense of humor and friendship. Their influence, when taken in confluence with my amazing friends, peers, and Cal State's superlative English department, is the compound subject of my undying gratitude. For they help show me that choosing a lifestyle that helps make you happy is something that transcends material affluence. Should there be anything venerable in my accomplishments, sole congratulations are due to the aforementioned, for I am only a vessel for their love, instruction, and example.
My journey here at CSUSB began in 2005. As a freshman, I was certain of one thing. I wanted to grow, flourish, and become the best possible musician I could be. As an aspiring opera singer, my ultimate goal has always been to perform. With the help and guidance of the dedicated music professors and vocal teachers, I not only grew as a soprano, but my entire mentality changed. the Department of Music has truly become my second family. At the beginning of my sophomore year, I applied to study abroad through CSU's international program in southern Germany. I began my studies at Tübingen University in Baden-Württemberg. My second semester, I transferred to the Trossingen Music Conservatory. While abroad, I extensively studied my vocal technique as well as the German language. In 2008, I returned to CSUSB and began to study under the vocal direction of Dr. Stacey Fraser. Looking back, I feel so blessed to have had her as both my teacher and mentor. Dr. Fraser started the opera program, and because of her, I had the opportunity to sing the roles of Ernestine in Offenbach's RSVP, and more recently, the role of Fiordiligi in Mozart's Così fan tutte in our very own music department. Graduate school was always the next step of my plan. I can proudly say that I was accepted to the Manhattan School of Music, and I will be studying there this coming fall for my master's degree. Through hard work and persistence, I have become even more devoted to my instrument and future. Thanks to my wonderful parents and sister, I have endless love and support that will carry me throughout the rest of my life. I love you, my dad, mom, and sis. I'm going to make you even more proud.
The famous philosopher Plato stated that the direction in which education starts a man will determine his future life. My academic journey at CSUSB started with a course in philosophy. In my 5 years as a student, I can easily say that it was as a major that I have encountered the most intellectually intriguing topics. Philosophy has been rightly called the mother of all sciences, and as such, it has taught me to think and given me the courage to question. It enriched my life beyond the classroom by allowing me to critique and strengthen my views about ethics. Self-discipline, honesty, and wisdom were virtues that I loved learning about, and studying philosophy taught me that practicing ethical theory is just as important as defending it. Building friendships with like-minded students in their thirst for knowledge was an encouragement and a challenge. And I will never forget the enthusiasm of my professors and the time they invested in their students. They opened up their homes, spent countless hours explaining the material, laughed at our jokes, told us their stories, and humored us when we tried to argue with them. In addition to my professors, I thank my family for their unending support, specifically my mother, father, sister, and brother. They gave me their encouragement and love every step of the way. I also thank God for His hand in guiding me through this journey and the support of my church family and friends. In closing, I am honored to have had philosophy as part of my academic journey. As I take my next steps into graduate school and beyond, I will always hold to the principles of virtue, love for knowledge, and value of sound judgment that I have learned as a student of philosophy.
Theater is a collaborative art. Everything that you see on stage or that happens backstage is the culmination of a group of people working towards one final picture, the show. Without the strength and commitment of those involved in each show, the picture would never be complete. I believe the same can be said about getting a bachelor's degree. A walk across the commencement stage is achieved not only by the hard work and determination of the student, but also with the aid of professors, staff members, and the college itself. I find this experience to be similar to any sort of lecture class with group presentations involved. I have been placed in groups where I may know my group members and I may not, but we all must work together to make sure our project is something worth listening to. In the theater, you are given the chance to play all sorts of roles. You can wake one morning as a lovesick young adult, be a rebellious rich kid with a drive to climb mountains by lunch, and a good witch by nightfall. It's a little exhausting, yes, but unlike any other feeling in the world. And after all the work is done, you get to share your experiences with your fellow actors and crew members. If I take anything away from my college experience, I know I will take the knowledge that I am never alone. So I thank all of my professors and the staff members of the theater department, my friends, Tony, and lastly my family, because when I am with you, I am inspired and never alone.
I was fortunate enough to double my majors and study Arabic and marketing at CSUSB, a place I consider my second home. The best part of studying the language is the actual classes. Our world languages department faculty have been understanding, caring, and enthusiastic. Learning a foreign language opens us to the hearts of millions of people in the world, understanding their culture, habits, and mindsets. Our department classes are so enriching with many activities. As a student, I was privileged enough to be a mentor in the Summer Arabic Intensive program on our campus, one of the best residential programs in the nation. Most importantly, my major had also provided me with a better understanding of the social and political aspects of the Arab world. I joined the Model United Nations, representing the state of Egypt and winning the Outstanding Delegation Award, competing with Ivy League schools. Coming from a Palestinian origin, my accomplishment today is a dream come true for me, my parents, and every seeker for knowledge. Education and knowledge will always be a voice of freedom. I really want to thank my mom and dad. I love you so much for being my support system, and also my Cal State professors, especially Dr. Danny and Dr. Nelson. If it was not for them, I would have not had such magnificent opportunities.
Being selected to receive the President's Academic Excellence Scholarship in high school was an opportunity that I could not pass up. Attending CSUSB was a dream come true for my family and myself. I started my freshman year undeclared and without a clue. I tried out courses in psychology, sociology, film studies, philosophy, but none of them fit me quite right. Liberal studies offered classes that intrigued me, like teaching art, music, and dance in the classroom, and methodology courses. In my liberal studies classes, I was being taught how to teach. It was when I got the opportunity to have a classroom and students of my own that I knew I had made the right career choice. I looked forward to each day and the challenges that running a classroom brought. I felt prepared. I felt ready. I had my first real teacher moment when I worked with one of my third grade students who had autism. In fact, that student cried the day I finished my teaching assignment. It's that kind of impact I hope I can one day make on all of my students. I'd like to thank my parents for all their love and support throughout my entire educational career. I don't know if I could have done it without them. I'd like to thank my girlfriend for all of her support, especially when I get cranky during finals. I'd also like to thank Professor Thomerson and everyone in the PALS office that I had the chance to work with as a peer advisor. And to all the liberal studies graduates and future teachers, congratulations. American author and teacher William Arthur Ward once said, "The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires." We will all one day be a source of inspiration for our students.